Monkeypox happening everywhere. Global news reporting on this monkeypox case. Viruses in the media. It's a never-ending cycle of viruses in the media. And what about vaccines? More vaccines coming out. A fourth vaccine dose coming out for COVID. Are we in a never-ending perpetual cycle of media-induced virus stories to get us to get more vaccines? Let's tackle this issue right now. Okay guys, first things first, if you guys can please like, follow, share, subscribe to all my social media platforms, including YouTube, especially YouTube, because YouTube is very critical in me doing these videos because I'm trying to build a YouTube platform. And when at the end of my videos, when I'm pointing to videos to check out, you can't see them on Facebook because they're all on YouTube. So please subscribe to YouTube especially, and please like, follow, share, subscribe on to the other ones as well. Okay, so many more stories have been fed to us in the media lately about more cases of monkeypox happening here. Are these credible stories? Are we just in a perpetual cycle now of having virus stories fed to us in the media to keep us in fear in order to get more vaccines delivered to the public? Is this just a never-ending cycle? Let's take a look at some headlines and stories in the media right now, and let's determine for ourselves what our future is with media, viruses, and vaccines. The Viru-ccine, if you will. Let's take a look. Okay, first things first, let's check out a headline by Global News. June 7th, 2022. Canada issues travel notice as monkeypox continues to spread around the world. Big headline, right? Spreading around the world. Is this really the story? When you actually read the article, however, it kind of says something a little bit different. Now check this out. Canadian travelers may be worried about contracting monkeypox after a public health warning was issued earlier this week, urging caution for those planning to go abroad. While there are ongoing concerns about the number of cases cropping up in countries that don't normally see this virus, experts say the risk of outbreaks that could cause pandemic-level spread of the illness remains low. So then why the hysteria so far if it remains low? And when it comes to travel, risks of contracting monkeypox is also not something of major concern, says Dave Evans, an expert on virology and pox viruses at the University of Alberta. So again, you see a sensational headline, but then the article says just downplays the whole event like it's nothing. Realistically, I know the numbers sound large, but in great scheme of things, it's almost non-existent as far as risks go for infectious diseases. If you're traveling to other parts of the world and you're meeting strangers, whatever you're up to, there are some things common sense says that you should be aware of, but I really would not worry about monkeypox. To add on to this, why is there a level 2 travel warning or an alert warning that Canada just registered for this virus nationally? Let's dive a little more deeper into this. On Tuesday, the Public Health Agency of Canada issued a level 2 travel health notice to encourage people traveling outside the country to take extra precautions amid the ongoing monkeypox outbreak in countries around the world. However, this advisory carefully noted those most at risk of infection are people who have had direct contact with individuals who currently have monkeypox or their household or intimate contacts. So why the level 2 if it's only for close contact people over a sustained time? Doesn't make sense. If a traveler becomes ill, they could find themselves subjected to isolation or other measures to limit the spread of the virus. Sound familiar? More isolation, more quarantine coming up? They could also face delays returning home if they've left the country. Oh, just like at Pearson Airport, how many delays have been happening there lately, right? That means if you haven't been exposed to someone who's sick or someone very close to an infected person and are not planning to attend any large parties or mass gatherings as part of your travel, the chances of catching this illness is negligible. So why the hysteria? Why the headlines? Why a level 2 travel warning? Is this just more clickbait for these news articles, for these headlines, for Global News? What is this here? Let's continue to read. More than 1,000 monkeypox cases have been reported in countries outside West and Central Africa. 1,000 cases out of 7.8 or 7.9 billion people. That's like a 0.0000006% chance of contracting this thing. 1,000 out of almost 8 billion. Nearly 30 countries where monkeypox is not endemic have reported outbreaks of the viral disease. 30 countries, 1,000 cases. You do the math. Are those really outbreaks? Canada has confirmed at least 98 cases of people infected with the virus, with 90 in Quebec. That's 900 worldwide outside of Canada. On Tuesday, the CDC removed a mask recommendation from its monkeypox travel notice to avoid confusion over the disease. Now, monkeypox has been around over 50 years. Why the confusion? Have they not learned yet about masks with monkeypox? It's been 50 years. Why are they going back and forth like this? The agency had earlier suggested that travelers wear masks as this can help protect against many diseases, including monkeypox, and said that monkeypox could spread by respiratory secretions during prolonged face-to-face contact. Rosamund Lewis, WHO's lead expert on monkeypox, said Wednesday the primary drivers of the spread of this virus in non-endemic countries like Canada and the US are face-to-face and skin-to-skin physical contact, which is why standard public health measures like contact tracing, sound familiar? Surveillance, well, they actually said surveillance in this article. Contact tracing and surveillance. They're not hiding much anymore, are they? And isolation for those who are ill is primarily being recommended. But small outbreaks of many diseases happen all the time around the world that the wider public just doesn't normally notice. Weird that they said that too. Given the historically low transmission of monkeypox and the heightened awareness of current cases, Evans says he anticipates this viral outbreak and the public's attention to it will soon peter out quite quickly and disappear again. So they hype it up and then they kind of bring it down. Evans also said, I would worry about some other infectious diseases before I worried about monkeypox. So why the hysteria? Why the headlines? This doesn't make any sense. More back and forth contradictory action. I'm not sure what's happening here, but there's obviously a lot of hysteria around 1,000 cases around the world. Now, if we go back and take a look at GBN News, Great Britain's news article, Moderna's new COVID vaccine, 5 times better than the original, scientists say. Now we're into vaccines. 5 times better. Better how? It doesn't specify. Clinical trials have shown promising signs. Promising signs. At least they're signs. Not proof or evidence. Signs. The vaccine provides protection against the original Wuhan strain and the Omicron variant. Well, the original vaccine provided protection anyway, just not a lot. So this is doing the same thing. And the article goes on to say, pharmaceutical company Moderna say they have created a new vaccine which is 5 times better at boosting antibodies than its original jab. The US firm said early clinical trials proved positive, raising hope, that it would only need to be administered once a year. Once a year. Up from the, 3 doses we've already had in a year and a half? Now they've only reduced it to 1 a year? If successful, individuals will be given the vaccine once a year to boost their antibodies. The vaccine provides people with protection against the original Wuhan strain and the Omicron variant, but the pharmaceutical company remained hopeful that its newest immunization will be vital in protecting against newer emerging variants. Moderna's chief medical officer, Dr. Paul Burton, who probably doesn't have any financial or otherwise invested interests in Moderna to administer 1 dose a year for the rest of our lives, confirmed claims that the new vaccine could raise an individual's antibodies to significant levels, meaning the jab would only be required annually, the rest of your life. He said, I think for the first time we could really be looking at the potential for just once yearly boosting because we can get people to such a high antibody level that it will just take longer to decay. In other words, it doesn't work. We still know it's not going to work. It's only going to last a significant amount of time. So get boosted every year to keep making us more money. But it's 5 times better. I think we should have good protection against new variants, but if we had something remarkably different, we would have to pivot quickly and start producing that new vaccine. Other pharmaceutical companies are also working on vaccines that target Omicron, following reports that the variant was found to evade some of the protection offered by the first round of jabs. So there we have some more media stories, more hype, more fear about new variants, about new viruses, and then more vaccines yearly. Are we just in a perpetual future cycle of inevitable viruses and vaccines for the rest of our life? Kind of makes me wonder if this is really our future. I wonder what my podcasts in about 5 years are going to be like. Subscribe to all my social media platforms. That would help me out very much. Okay, so we are now 7 years into this COVID pandemic. It's been a long 7 years. So many lockdowns, so many restrictions. But thankfully, nobody's sick anymore. Oh, thanks to so many vaccines out there that have helped the world. But since we are in a pandemic of viruses have engulfed this world, let's take a look at some news articles from around the world, and let's see what is really happening with more viruses around the world. Let's see if there's more propaganda or if it's all real scary stories that are happening in today's world in 2027. Okay, so in the newest headline of Pfizer Daily, Nike sponsors CDC to honor flip-flopping. Wow. In their section Propaganda via Marketing Fear, in the CDC and WHO Daily, the latest fashion trends tell us, in the latest news that uses fashion as marketing propaganda to coerce unwilling people into blind obedience, the CDC stance on masks has seen more flip-flops than a hot summer's day at Miami Beach. The CDC has seen so many flip-flops that Nike has decided to sponsor the CDC to make a new line of masks with a flip-flop design on the front. In typical marketing fashion, their tagline says, "Just flip-flop." In streetwear, in a convenient method of additional marketing, the lotion sandal mask is also sold alongside the flip-flop mask, as a reminder that sandals and masks go hand in hand with the CDC line of flip-flop masks. Interesting. Now, let's check out a great headline, a great article put out today by Pfizer Daily in their latest virus and media propaganda, brought to you by Pfizer. Sponsored also by Pfizer and written, of course, by Pfizer. In continuing the mainstream media trend of reporting on a multi-million-year-old concept of viruses, as if it's a new concept in order to create fear leading to control, a pandemic of healthy people working out broke out at a gym in Toronto, Ontario, where several people defied Section 3.2 of Ontario's Public Sick Order. Upon hearing this, Justin Trudeau, Canada's WEF puppet, enacted the Abuse of Power Act, formerly known as the Emergency Act, in which he froze all of their membership, seized all gym equipment, and force-jabbed all patrons, after which they immediately passed away. Upon hearing this news, all Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and pharma-funded doctors were baffled as to the cause of what happened. In response, the CDC has declared a new virus, the sudden healthy people whom work out virus. Upon hearing of this opportunity to capitalize financially off a non-existent virus or non-existent crisis, Pfizer immediately manufactured a new vaccine to combat people passing from the newly discovered sudden healthy people who work out and die after receiving a jab for a made-up virus syndrome. How typical of Pfizer, always looking out for people's health and safety and not profits. Let's take a look at one more article. This is from Media, Fear, and Control. What a headline. Oh, man far away coughs. Stay calm. It was just a cough. Let's read on. In more Pfizer and Moderna sponsored fear and controlling people via applying scary pictures of people with viruses with sensational headlines to convince them that an immune system cannot fight off a 50-year-old known virus called monkeypox news. A man in Cambodia coughed today. In response, the WHO and CDC, under the direct orders of Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab, since they own them, ordered global medical martial law and announced a new pandemic based on a cough and suspected virus. Upon enacting martial law, they also announced a 2-week lockdown to flatten the cough. All countries that are controlled by the WF have been ordered to do a mandatory quarantine under the guise of health and safety to ensure the populace obeys their government until more freedoms and rights can be taken away from the people. 7 years into this pandemic and this is still happening. Boy, I wish 5 years ago we would have done a little bit more so we wouldn't have had to live through this pandemic of 5 more years. Well, that's not a future I want to be living in. We better do something now, quick, before it's too late, before viruses and vaccines just destroy the world. Thankfully, we're not going to live in that world, I hope. Anyways, that's enough for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and if you guys can please click on this video here, followed by that video there, that would be great, and we will be back once again to talk about another topic, controversial or not, in our next video. So please, thank you, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you.